Two of Israel's most dangerous enemies have been eliminated: Hamas's political chief Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah's chief of staff Fuad Shukr. Haniyeh was on a visit to Tehran to attend a ceremony for the swearing-in of Iran's new president when a missile hit the house he was staying in. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps immediately pointed a finger to blame Israel, but so far, Israel is neither confirming nor denying its involvement. However, Fuad was taken out by an airstrike in Beirut, and Israel is making no secret that it carried out this strike. In any case, Israel has sent a powerful message to Iran's so-called axis of resistance that there is no safe place where they can hide while planning to attack Israelis. We know how to find them, and we know how to hit them. Let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 299th day of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and all the terror proxies in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. The assassination of Haniyeh on Iranian soil is obviously very embarrassing for the Iranian regime, and it's also one of the most serious events to occur in the context of this war since it began with the massacre of Israelis by Hamas terrorists on October 7. Fuad Shukr's assassination in the Dahia district of Beirut is also very serious, as he was one of Hezbollah's senior leaders who had been active in the organization for decades. The United States had an open offer of $5 million to anyone who could assist in apprehending this evil man, as he was suspected of involvement in the attack on the United States Embassy and the United States Marine Barracks in Beirut all the way back in 1983. In any event, the last 24 hours carried one of the most important events in Israel's war against terrorism. Late on Tuesday evening, it was announced that an Israeli force strike on Beirut had taken out Fuad Shukr. A few hours later, at approximately 2 a.m. local time, the house in Tehran where Haniyeh was staying was hit by a missile, which resulted in his elimination along with one of his bodyguards. Hamas officially confirmed Haniyeh's death and immediately blamed Israel, as did the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps. Condemnations of Israel came from Iran, Hezbollah, Russia, and even Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. However, a statement from the White House merely said that the United States is aware of the assassination, and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said it would assist in defending Israel from any Iranian retaliation. For its part, Iran was reportedly holding an emergency meeting of the Supreme Council for National Security with the participation of IRGC Quds Force Commander Ismail Haniyeh. Now, let's take a closer look at Ismail Haniyeh, who was the head of the political bureau of Hamas and one of the most prominent leaders of the organization since its inception. Although Haniyeh was considered a more moderate figure compared to his replacement in the Gaza Strip, Yair Sinwar, he was marked by Israel after the October 7th massacre, although the extent of his direct involvement in planning the attack and knowing about it is highly questionable. He has lost several of his sons and family members during the IDF's war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and has visited Iran several times since October 7th to try and convince the Iranian regime to enter the war directly, without success. Although this is one of the most crushing losses Hamas has suffered in this war, the IDF has succeeded in eliminating many senior members of the military wing of Hamas who are responsible for the October 7th massacre directly. This includes Marwan Issa, the deputy head of the military wing under Muhammad Deif, and Yair Sinwar. Israel has also confirmed the elimination of the Northern Gaza Brigade commanders, Ahmed Andur, Ayman Nofal, and other senior officials who were recently eliminated in airstrikes. In addition, at the beginning of the year, Rafah Salma was eliminated along with Salah El-Aruri, who were eliminated by an airstrike in Beirut earlier this year. As of now, no one in Israel has commented on the reports about Haniyeh's death or the accusations that Israel is responsible. But Musa Abu Marzouk, one of the surviving senior members of the Hamas political bureau, warned that the elimination of Haniyeh will not pass in silence. I need you to understand, It is still not clear how this strike in Tehran was carried out, and once again, I need to repeat that Israel is neither confirming nor denying its involvement. But even so, I can take great pride in the capabilities of the IDF and my country. That's because it's been confirmed that on Tuesday evening, the Israeli Air Force eliminated Fuad Shukr, the senior military commander in Hezbollah, who served as the organization's chief of staff and was the right-hand man of the terrorist organization's Secretary General, Hassan Nasrallah. Before we discuss this further, please enter our Instagram page, TBN Israel, to stay updated in real time on all the events that happen in Israel and in this region. Let me tell you a few things about the terrorist career of Fuad Shukr, which came to an end on Tuesday evening. Shukr had been an active member of Hezbollah for almost 40 years, and he was a driving force behind their transformation into one of the most sophisticated and heavily armed non-state actors in the world. Recently, he had been in command of the program to acquire precision-guided missiles for Hezbollah. He was one of the top 3 officials in the organization, considered the right-hand man of Hassan Nasrallah. He was also a senior member of the Jihad Council and serves as the organization's top military commander in southern Lebanon. Obviously, a man like this, who had been hunted for so many years but managed to avoid getting caught, is difficult to track down. Identifying the house and even the individual room where such a man is standing so that it can be targeted with a missile small enough to take him out without causing harm to innocent people nearby is not easy. But the Israeli intelligence community is known for doing things that are not easy. And so is the Israeli Air Force, which fired the missile at the room which the intelligence agents told them Shukr would be in. In the Israeli intelligence community, it is a combination of 2 things. One team is in charge of creating a pattern of the target, while the other is in charge of tracking that target and making sure it's in the specific location while the attack is taking place. It is also important to remember that this strike came in response to the Hezbollah missile strike on Majd al-Shams, which killed 12 Israeli children on Saturday. The Security Cabinet authorized Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant to approve a response to this massacre, and Shukr was one of the targets. Nasrallah issued a statement about the assassination, declaring among other things that he would only deal with religious matters. But when he spoke about the issue of martyrdom and the martyrs killed in the fighting against Israel, he spoke in a choked voice, and at one point the audience cried along with him. Speaking of Hezbollah operatives eliminated in the war against Israel, there was another strike attributed to Israel overnight on Tuesday. Reports in the Syrian media say that at least 44 people were neutralized in these strikes on the airport and several sites in the surrounding countryside. The IDF reported that the target of the strikes was Hezbollah operatives and weapons storage facilities, as well as other facilities used by Hezbollah and other Iranian-backed militias. So please continue to spread the truth and support us so that we can continue to bring you information about Israel and this region. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and take an active part in creating current and accurate content about Israel. If you'd like to receive more videos like this one, please consider making a financial donation by going to our website at tbn.org/Israel. Switching to some diplomatic analysis, these strikes on Hezbollah targets and the assassination of a senior Hamas leader in Tehran positions Israel as the guardian of Western civilization. The leadership of the United States must now see that there is no going back, and there cannot be any more half measures. The time has come for moral clarity and decisive action. The Biden administration in the United States, and particularly Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the presumptive nominee for the upcoming presidential elections for the Democrats, has long called for a balance between confronting terrorism and minimizing harm to the innocent civilians. These strikes in Beirut and Tehran hit that balance perfectly. They also demonstrated for all the world to see that Israel is not intimidated by Iran's evil plans and actions, and so the rest of the free world doesn't have to be afraid of them as well. In other words, these Israeli strikes gave the United States and other Western allies an example to follow. And as always, All of the tactical knowledge and experience gains from these operations will be shared with Israel's allies. This will help them to improve their own plans for carrying out similar counterterrorism operations. This is a good place to remind ourselves once again that Israel is on the front lines of a war that, as our Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in his address to the United States Congress last Wednesday, is between civilization and barbarism. Israel is fighting this war in the Middle East, but it can come to you in North America and Europe very quickly. So please be in prayer for the IDF and all the other forces who are battling this evil, barbaric terrorism. For now, we are awaiting Hezbollah's response to this operation. Admittedly, it is unlikely that they will back down in the face of this devastating blow to their abilities and prestige. They know that they can't be seen as weak in the face of Israeli power, or their enemies will quickly attack them. However, it is also unlikely that they will launch a full-scale attack on Israel because of this strike, as they have much to lose. But there is still a risk that they might decide to take their chances with a war rather than risk losing their image as the leader of the camp opposing Israel in the region. With this in mind, it is likely that the organization's response will be very different from anything that we have seen since October 8. Whether it's the quality, the range, or diversity of capabilities, Hezbollah has enough tools to significantly challenge the state of Israel. The big test is still ahead of us, and we can only hope and pray that the Israeli defense systems will slow down the bulk of Hezbollah's fire so that a full-scale war can be avoided. In any case, here at TBN Israel, we will continue to update you on the developments going forwards, so please continue to help spreading the truth by sharing our videos and subscribing to this YouTube channel. Back to the news and switching our focus to the Gaza Strip. The IDF has continued its robust ground operation and to date has destroyed over 100 kilometers worth of Hamas terror tunnels, captured enormous stocks of weapons and ammunition, and rescued several hostages. In the last 24 hours, there was another milestone as an airstrike eliminated Ibrahim Hijazi, who was in charge of anti-tank weapons in the Nusirat battalion of the terrorist organization Hamas in the Gaza Strip. He was one of the top Hamas specialists in anti-tank warfare, and he will be difficult to replace. At the same time, Division 252 is still operating in the center of the Gaza Strip, raiding targeted locations, eliminating terrorists, and destroying terrorist infrastructure. An Air Force aircraft, in cooperation with the combat team of the Alexandroni Brigade, eliminated a terrorist squad of Hamas that was operating inside a building in the area. Last Saturday, the forces of the division began to advance towards a Hamas battalion located in an area that the IDF has not yet maneuvered in, between Khan Yunis and Rafah. It is expected that the division will operate for several more weeks in the city, where Hamas has partially rehabilitated with additional brigades that were supposed to join the operation. Let's recall that in April, the IDF withdrew from Khan Yunis after severely damaging the local Hamas brigades. According to Division 98 data, they met their goal that was set before them, defeating Khan Yunis brigades in Hamas by destroying 75% of its capability. In total, the forces located and destroyed dozens of tunnels in the city, and in additional raids they recently carried out in Jabalia and Sajaiya. The forces of the division were very close during the operations in Khan Yunis, in distance and in time, to Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, but were unable to reach him. Hamas often uses hidden doors with double hinges that are hard to destroy, which hide or make it difficult to pass in the underground pursuit that the IDF conducts against the senior members of the terrorist organization. Hamas uses these tunnels to move, hide, and survive. They never expected to fight the IDF in these tunnels, but they do have mechanisms for booby-trapping the doors or delay or prevent pursuit if necessary. The IDF has many ways to try and flush these terrorists out, including by cutting the supply of electricity to them. This forces the terrorists to sit in the dark, hot tunnels, yearning for a breath of fresh air or some sunlight. Sometimes they take a decision to emerge from the tunnels, set up a firing positions, and simply wait for the IDF to find them so that they can go down fighting instead of suffocating in the underground tunnels. The IDF, for its part, under the leadership of the 98th Division, built and improved almost from scratch an entire combat doctrine since the beginning of the year for locating, destroying, and also fighting in the tunnels. Today, more troops from elite units are allowed to descend relatively quickly into the tunnels using drones, dogs, and night vision goggles. The methods that they have pioneered for fighting underground tunnels and terror will surely be studied by anti-terrorism forces around the free world for decades to come. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to report on any development, so please continue to spread the truth, share, and follow us. Take a minute and press the follow button so that together we can give the truth its rightful place. Despite the assassinations of the senior terrorist leaders in Beirut, Gaza, and Tehran, the battle against terrorism in Judea and Samaria has not stopped. Wednesday morning saw an attack at a busy intersection near Hebron, which left one Israeli man seriously wounded. The IDF stated that a terrorist armed with a gun arriving in his vehicle at the bypass road in the Yehuda Brigade and opened fire at the Israeli citizen who was there. After that, the terrorist got out of his vehicle and stabbed the citizen. The IDF forces treated the citizen in the field, and he was directed to receive medical treatment at the hospital nearby. It was also reported that soldiers started chasing the terrorist who was carrying out this attack, blocking roads and searching for him after he fled on foot. Weapons were found inside his car, and he appeared to have been wounded by a female soldier who fired at him as he ran away. Guys, we need your help now more than ever, because this is the time to stand by good, by the truth, and that's what Israel represents in this war. So please join us in prayer. Pray for the IDF soldiers that are risking their lives. Pray for the civilians of Israel that are under attack constantly. Pray for all the civilians that are affected by this conflict. Pray for the truth to go out of Zion into the entire world. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.